Hello everyone, I'm Michael Serapio. Ontario's legislature is taking a big step. Going forward, recordings in Hansard and translations will no longer just be limited to French and English. With 2 days' notice to allow for the booking of translation, Indigenous languages will also be recognized and be part of the legislature's debate. It all began with the NDP member of Provincial Parliament, Sol Mamakwa, who complained that he was not allowed to use Oji-Cree in the chamber, even though it is a First Nations language. The government House Leader, Paul Calandra, heard him, and together they worked to make this moment happen yesterday at Queen's Park.
In time past, we were told never to speak our own Indigenous language in the provincial legislature. We had a leader named Frank Birdie from Muskrat Dam that was told that they will never permit Indigenous language to be spoken in the provincial legislature. But today, it's allowed. It's a historical event.
Well, Sol Mamakwa joins us now. Mr. Mamakwa, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Michael.
Now, you called yesterday momentous, but you know, I want to add to that reflection a bit, if you will, because in the gallery witnessing this moment were members of your family, including your mom. How meaningful was it for you to have them there?
It was really meaningful because of for my mom to hear me speak the language that she brought me up on. That means a lot. And same with my my brothers and my family, and not only that, the elders from my First Nation and other elders from the different areas of the province, and not only that, the dignitaries. You know, when we talk about the regional chief of Ontario and several chiefs and even grand chiefs, so it was very and young people. That was really important, and so I think it really meant a lot to me. And I think, you know, it brought tears to their eyes, and that's what I found out after when I spoke to them. It not just because of what I said, but just hearing the language in itself.
Yeah, hearing the language, and as you said, it was your mother who spoke to you in the language as you grew up. Talk to us about how she taught it to you, though, because you know you grew up in a time when, I don't have to tell you, institutions were trying to erase your language and your culture. So talk to us about what your mother did to make sure you did not lose the language of your people.
Yeah, she taught us, and also my late dad as well. You know, one of the things that they did is they took us out on the land. You know, you know, just living the ways of life, whether it's fishing, hunting, trapping, and, you know, food for sustenance. And that's, you know, we had to eat whatever we had, right? So, and I think when you do that, you know, there's so many things that comes with it, you know, when you start looking at the creeks, the bays, the islands, the points, and the you know, the rivers and the lakes, and why they're called those names, and you know, that's the history of it, right? And I think and also you know, the identity itself of who we are as First Nations people, as Anishinaabe, and it really enlightened me, and not only that, the teachings of it, and there was such an abundance of wildlife, food, the trees, plants, and the medicines that were all around, and you know, taught us the respect, and you know, it's really you know, the truth of who we are, and so language comes from the land, and that's all they had to do. It wasn't like this is how, what you call it, this is how, this is why, but you learn to hear the quietness of the wilderness, the outdoors, and it just it speaks to you in that way. So they really grounded me in that way.
Mm-hmm. They grounded you in that way. I'm wondering if you feel a sense of accomplishment here too, though, because you know, as we talk about reconciliation in this country and address the horrors of the past, you yourself have talked about how residential schools tried to kill the language in you. So do you feel a sense of an accomplishment that the residential schools did not win in this case?
I think, again, the residential schools, the colonial institutions of, with Indian residential schools and Indian day schools and other forms of oppression and colonialism, such as, when we talk about the 60 scoop, all those things and reserve systems, and they try to pin us to where we are. And I think the carriers of the warriors of the language, the keepers of the language, they're still strong. And I think that's one of the things about my mom. That's one of the things that she did. And but unfortunately, there are others that lost their language and that they were, punished for speaking their language. And there's so many stories that we hear and that people keep on sharing on how they try to eliminate the Indian in all of us, and but we are still here. We will continue to be here, and I think yesterday marked a chapter where where institutions like the Queen's Park at the Ontario Legislature, recognize that they cannot continue their colonial ways, and it was a reminder to others that we will continue to be here, and I think that is so important.
Mm-hmm. Quickly run out of time, but Paul Calandra is the government House leader, and he worked with you to craft this moment, to allow it to happen in the Ontario Legislature. Do you see that now as a challenge for other legislatures in this country, for the federal parliament, to essentially follow suit?
It is a challenge. It is something, if they want to go to the path of reconciliation with Indigenous people, with First Nations people across the country, other provinces across the country need to follow the same path. And not only that, we have the House of Commons in Ottawa. They need to change those standing orders to be able to recognize Indigenous languages as a way for us to move forward in this, when we talk about reconciliation, it may seem that, standing order change is very small, but it's actually a very big move to, widen the road.